Yo, what's happening guys? Welcome to your 23rd Bootstrap 3 tutorial, and in this video we're going to take a look at panels. Alright then guys, so Bootstrap gives us yet another way to kind of display our content, and that is via panels. Now, if we use a panel, essentially what we're doing is just kind of boxing our content into some kind of panel, like a box. And it can look pretty nice. So I'm going to make these things right here. You see these four little things? I'm going to make these into panels. But we'll start with just the first one. And what we need to do, this is all this HTML right here. Each one of these divs is one of those things. You can see when I highlight a div, it kind of highlights over here. Yeah. So we're just going to start with this first one over here, this ninja one. And essentially what we need to do when we use a panel is place all the content that we want to be in the panel within a div, right? So we'll put a div first of all, and we also need to give this a class equal to panel, right? As well as giving it the panel class, we also need to give it a contextual class. So remember, contextual classes are those things like default or warning or danger or primary, those kind of things. I'm just going to go with default, so it's panel-default, like that, okay? So we'll close that off, and we'll put the end div tag right at the bottom over there. Okay, so now this is in a panel, and it looks pretty cruddy so far, just like a border around it basically. No spacing inside, but we also need to add some additional divs as well. Now, first of all, we need to add a div around the title, or rather this is optional, I like to do this. Okay, so the div we need to add around has a class of panel-heading. Okay, then we'll pop the end tag after the H1 because this is the heading, and scoot this in. Okay, so now you can see we get that kind of grey background and it's padded out a little bit, but I think this is too big and too spacious, so we can add a class onto the H1 which kind of reduces this a little bit. So let's give this a class of panel-title. Oops. There we go, and it just makes it a little bit smaller like that. Now, this is all kind of preference. If you wanted to, you could keep it big and you could just reduce the padding in your own styles. I'm just going to use this panel title class in this tutorial. So, next thing we need to attack is this body text, because currently it's got no padding. So, what we need to do is place the body of our panel in a div, and we'll give this a class of panel-body. So let's close that off and put the closing tag right at the end of the content. Alright, and now you can see it's just kind of spaced that out a little bit inside. Give it all a bit of padding, which looks better. Now there's one more thing I want to show you, and that is the panel footer. So we've got a header, or a heading rather. We can also have a panel footer. So I'm going to do a quick div, give it a class equal to panel-footer. Like that, and then within this div what I'm going to do is just a simple anchor tag, href equals whatever, and then I'm going to say more info. So this is if a user wants to come here and click more info about this, they can just do so here. That's kind of, you know, what a footer would be for in this panel case. It looks very similar to the header, but when we change the contextual class it does change a little bit. Alright, so that is a panel, guys. Let me in fact just change that contextual class so you can see. I'll change this to primary like that, and now you can see the header changes to blue and the border, but this footer down here stays grey, so there is some kind of differentiation there. Now I'm going to apply this to the rest of these things right here, but I'm not going to do it to each one. I'm just going to copy and paste this thing right here, so everything within the column I'm going to copy, and I'm going to replace these things here with that. So 1, 2, and 3. Cool. Alright, so there are panels. Now, if we wanted, we could give each one a different contextual class. Let's just do that to make them look a little bit different. So where's the first one? The first one is somewhere here. Panel primary, second one is here. So we'll change this to panel danger, nice and red. Okay, well I say red, more like pink. The next one down here will change to warning, which is some kind of faded yellow. Okay, and then we'll change this last one to success, why not? Alright, save that and let's take a look. Alright, so I mean, in this website, it doesn't particularly look great, but you get the idea. You could use this in your website somewhere else. For example, if you've got a staff page, you could list each staff member. And also when you use things like tables and list items within these panels, they look pretty nice as well because Bootstrap takes care of a lot of the styles for you. Alright, so there we go guys. That is how we make panels. If you have any questions, feel free to ask down below. Otherwise guys, don't forget to subscribe and all that jazz, and I'll see you in the very next tutorial.